Before swords clashed, before kingdoms fell, there was silence, the silence of a courtroom waiting for the judge to enter. Heaven itself held its breath, for freedom had just been given, and love was about to be tested. In that silence stood two figures, Michael, whose very name was a question, who is like God, and Lucifer, the shining one, who refused to bow. What happened next would shape eternity. Part 1. The war above begins. Creation was harmony. Choirs of angels lifted songs older than dawn. Their melodies were architecture, scaffolding for the stars, resonance for the galaxies. But even in harmony, a note can bend. Among the cherubim stood a figure of brilliance, Lucifer, the light bearer. His wings shimmered like stormlight. His voice could weave worship like silk. Beauty was his clothing, wisdom, his crown. Yet beauty can seduce its owner, and wisdom can become cunning. Scripture preserves his ambition in 5 words. I will ascend. I will set. I will rule. I will rise. I will be like the Most High. Every empire of pride begins with, I will. It is the anthem of self-enthroned, the creed of creation pretending to be creator. At that moment, Michael rose, not with ambition, but with alignment. His name itself posed the sword. Who is like God? With that question, pride was exposed for what it was, an illusion. The courtroom became a battlefield. Arguments turned into armies. Words became weapons. The heavens trembled with the sound of wings and steel. Lightning carved paths across eternity. Swords met. Shields shattered. Voices thundered. It was not chaos but order in conflict. Truth striking against distortion. Loyalty clashing with rebellion. And then came the verdict. Lucifer, now the dragon, was cast down. The echo of his fall became a fault line in history. A crack running beneath the story of mankind. Wars, betrayals, empires rising and falling. All carry the aftershock of that ancient rebellion. Part 2. Names and natures. In ancient thought, a name was not just a label, it was a prophecy. A banner, a declaration of destiny. Michael's name was not a boast, but a question. Who is like God? That question itself dismantled pride. By contrast, Satan's name means the adversary, the accuser. Names reveal mission. Michael's name lifted eyes upward. Satan's name pointed fingers. Michael's presence brought courage. Satan's presence stole peace. Every battle is fought twice. First in the mind, then in the field. Michael carried truth in his name. Satan carried distortion. Their names shaped their weapons. And even now, your life echoes one of these names. But names do more than describe, they dictate destiny. Satan would not stop at pride. He would build a case against humanity. That is part 3. The dragon's case, how Satan argued to own the world. The dragon was cast down, but his fury spilled into creation. Unable to accuse in heaven, he turned his case toward earth. Humanity became his defendants. The war shifted from angelic courts to human hearts. Satan's genius was legal, not physical. He argued, if they sin, they are mine. And sin was everywhere. Every failure became evidence. Every betrayal, testimony. The dragon built his courtroom out of human guilt. His case began with a whisper in a garden. Did God really say? With that question, he reframed reality. Obedience looked like restriction. Freedom looked like suspicion. And when the fruit was taken, accusation took root. You feel it even now. Shame that cripples prayer. Fear that paralyzes choice. Guilt that silences joy. These are not random emotions. They are echoes of the dragon's case. But heaven did not remain silent. Michael rose again, and the courtroom became a battlefield. The dragon would fight once more, but truth would not yield. That is part 4. Battle 1 revisited. The war in heaven and its turning point. The accusations thundered, but truth is never passive. Lightning tore the skies. Voices rose like armies. What began as debate now exploded as battle. Michael did not fight to seize a throne. He fought to defend reality. The throne is not vacant. His sword blazed not with ego but with remembrance. Who is like God? The dragon lunged toward the throne, but Michael blocked the path. Their clash was not only physical, it was symbolic. Pride met truth, and pride faltered. The dragon and his angels could not prevail. They were cast down, hurled from heaven's heights to the depths below. Rebellion always ends not in victory but in exile. The war above explains the war within. Satan can no longer accuse in heaven, so he accuses in your heart. But Michael's banner still waves. Who is like God? That question silences the accuser. Yet the dragon did not vanish. His fury fell to earth. Nations became battlegrounds. Empires became pawns. To follow the aftermath, we move to part 5. Aftermath, angels, nations, and the long war on earth. When the dragon fell, his fury found new ground. Earth became the battlefield. Empires rose and fell under unseen influence. Prophets spoke of princes behind Persia, Greece, and Rome. History itself was entangled in spiritual war. In exile, Daniel fasted and prayed for 21 days. Then came the answer. The prince of Persia resisted me, but Michael came to help. The vision unveiled the truth. Earthly politics were shadows of heavenly war. Every throne can serve justice or deception. When tyranny rises, you hear the hiss of the dragon. When freedom blossoms, you glimpse Michael's sword. Nations are not neutral. They echo heaven or hell. But the war is not only in capitals, it is in you. Temptation, fear, shame, pride. These are daily battlefields. The dragon accuses. Michael reminds. One chains you, the other frees you. The aftermath explains our world. Oppression endures. Nations fall. Injustice lingers. Because the dragon still prowls. But Michael's banner still waves. Who is like God? That question slices through history's lies. But heaven's ultimate answer was not only Michael's sword. It was the Lamb's cross. If the dragon claimed humanity through accusation, God would answer through sacrifice. That is part 6. The cross as counterstrike. Satan's brilliance was legal. If humanity sins, justice demands death. He was not wrong. Sin carried debt. Guilt demanded payment. By his logic, humanity was his forever. God did not refute with words. He entered the dock himself. The judge became the accused. The word became flesh. And where accusation demanded blood, he gave his own. At Calvary, power looked like weakness. Nails pierced. Soldiers mocked. The crowd jeered. The dragon roared, thinking he had won. Yet the cross was the courtroom overturned. Sin was punished, but not in you, in him. Revelation says, they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and the word of their testimony. Blood satisfied justice. Testimony silenced accusation. At the cross, the prosecutor lost his case. The dragon still thrashes, but his weapons are broken. His accusations echo, but they have no legal hold. The chain that binds him is nailed to Calvary. Because heaven did not answer rage with rage, but with love, not violence with violence, but with forgiveness. Grace dismantled the dragon's logic. The cross was not defeat, it was counterstrike. But prophecy does not end at Calvary. It points forward, to one last war, one last casting down, one last judgment. That is part 7. Battle 2. The final showdown between Michael and the dragon. On Patmos, John saw the vision. Then war broke out in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon and his angels fought back. The final battle was foretold, not as myth but as destiny. The dragon raged, for he knew his time was short. His fury was not strategy but panic, the terror of a criminal hearing the judge approach. Michael rose again, not merely to defend but to declare the dragon's end. His angels advanced, swords blazing with Calvary's reflection. For though Michael led, the Lamb's blood secured the victory. Once more the dragon was hurled down. His rebellion ended not in triumph but in chains. And at last, John saw him thrown into the lake of fire, eternal judgment. Eternal silence. Because your hope is not fragile. The end is already written. Evil is temporary. Glory is eternal. The question of Michael, who is like God, becomes the anthem of eternity. But prophecy is not only about tomorrow, it is about today. How do you fight your daily wars while awaiting the city to come? That is part 8. Tactics for the saints. Prayer is warfare. Confession breaks secrecy's chains. The dragon thrives in silence but dies when truth is spoken. Alone, a soldier is a target. Together, saints are a fortress. Daily habits: reading, worship, serving, dig trenches that resist temptation. You do not fight to earn victory. You fight to enforce one already won. Strategy is not striving, it is standing. But the story does not end with war. It ends with a city. To glimpse the hope beyond battles, we turn to part 9, the new city. John saw. I saw a new heaven and a new earth. For the first had passed away. History's wounds are healed. The story does not end in ashes but in renewal. The new Jerusalem came down like a bride adorned for her husband. Not humanity climbing up, but heaven coming down. It is not escape, it is union. The gates never close. The river of life flows. The tree of life heals nations. No death, no tears, no pain. Every face reflects God's smile. The new city is not fantasy, it is destiny. Evil does not write the last chapter. Love, once tested, reigns forever. But how do we live between the verdict of the cross and the vision of the city? That is part 10. Your two battles. Shame whispers, you failed. Fear says, you will never change. Pride tempts, you don't need God. This is the first battle, inside your heart. But remember Michael's banner. Who is like God? And remember the Lamb's cry. It is finished. Families break, workplaces corrupt, nations oppress. This is the second battle, around you. Here, every prayer, every act of mercy, every word of truth is resistance. You don't fight to win victory. You fight to live victory. Forgiveness proclaims. The accuser is silenced. Worship declares. The throne is not vacant. Endurance shouts. The war is already won. Because your life is not a footnote, it is a front line. Each choice echoes heaven's verdict. You bring heaven down to earth when you choose truth, mercy, and faith. So fight your two battles. Stand firm within. Resist without. Remember Michael's banner. Who is like God? Remember the Lamb's cross. The debt is paid. Remember the new city. The war ends in glory. If this journey stirred your heart, press like, click subscribe, and share it with a friend who needs courage tonight. The dragon has fallen. The Lamb has triumphed. And your story is proof that heaven's verdict lives on earth.